Human genomics is one of the shortest topics in the whole course, but it still contains a lot of vital information, and I'm going to teach you that right now. My name's Mr. White, I'm a biology teacher with more than 20 years experience, and let's run through human genomics. So our genome is our entire hereditary information. That's the information that we've inherited genetically from our parents, and it's usually in a long sequence like this one here, okay? Now this one only has a few bases on it. You actually have about 3 billion base pairs, so your sequence is much longer than this. And the Human Genome Project, which was the first bit of research into the genome, took many years to complete and cost billions of dollars to do that. Nowadays you can get your entire genome mapped for 100 quid or so, but that process has really sped up since the early days, and there are so many uses now to that genome information. But what would you write in the exam if they asked you what is the genome? Well, you'd write the entire hereditary information encoded in your DNA, okay? Everything that's encoded in your DNA makes up your genome. Now the genome is made up of genes, which we know lots about, things which code for proteins, but also other DNA sequences which do not code for proteins, and we know a little bit less about those things, but we've figured that they've got roles in things like transcription, translation, and other regulatory processes. Now the process of genome sequencing involves us determining the nucleotide sequence for either individual genes or for our entire genome, and that's very commonly used these days. Because there are just so many bases, nucleotide bases in that sequence, it's very difficult for us to do that manually, so we employ the use of computers and computer programs and statistical analyses to help us with that. And those things, collectively, the computer programs, statistical analyses to sequence all of our individual data, is the use of bioinformatics. Okay, that's the term we use for these collective uses. Now, once we have that genome data, how can we actually use that? Well, we can use it in medicine. For example, if we want to predict the likelihood of you getting a particular condition or inherited disease, we can use your genome information to do that. Similarly, we can use it for something called pharmacogenetics, which is where we look at the most effective choice of drugs and the most effective dosage of that drug for a particular disease that a person might have. So instead of giving you a generic drug, they will look at your genome sequence and they'll determine which drug to choose and which dosage to give you at in order for you to have the most effective treatment for that particular disease. And we call this personalised medicine. So there we have it, that's human genomics, okay? And the key words we need to know for our exam, genome sequencing, bioinformatics and pharmacogenetics, are all on here. And I'll give you a second just so you can screenshot this. Thanks folks, see you in the next one.